Hi, I'm Don Rickert with Don Rickert Musical Instruments and Don Rickert Design in Hiawassee, Georgia, in the beautiful North Georgia mountains. This here, this blue violin, is obviously not a regular violin. It's called Eve B and C. I'll explain that. It's Eve stands for electromechanically augmented violin. This is the second version, and we chose A to be the second version. The B and C stands for baritone and contrabass range, and they come from the second part of Eve, which is this box here. And okay, Eve is an example of what is sometimes called active acoustics or augmented acoustics. In most ways, this is an acoustic violin. It has all the internal structure, including a bass bar of a violin. In fact, it's not a cheap foreign violin. This is a very expensive violin that would have been one of my Master Series violins. But instead of the bridge actuating the body, we have the bridge going through a whole plethora of signal processing equipment, and then coming back to, or being distributed to, a transducer here that acts like a bridge. It vibrates. It's kind of like a speaker, but not exactly like a speaker. It's more like a little piston that vibrates at various frequencies. And then the treble range, of course, comes to this instrument. The baritone and bass go to this instrument. And again, this looks like a speaker cabinet, and you might say, yeah, it is, but it's actually built like a box-shaped cello. It's about a quarter-size cello in size. And instead of having speakers on the inside, it has actuators approximately where the bridge would be, and then one at the top part, and one at the bottom part. And there is a port hole here. The bottom is for the sub bass. You might ask, why do all of this? The whole idea of active acoustics or augmented acoustics is to take time-proven instruments like violins. In fact, a lot of the work is being done on violins by me and others, notably Professor Dan Overholtz in Denmark. You know, what if you could take a violin and change its timbre, which I have done several times in this video. I've changed it from a kind of a tinny sounding raspy fiddle to a very smooth sounding high quality violin, or what if you could take it, vary the octave in which the violin plays, for instance, playing in the, not only through the cello range, but also into the contrabass range. Well, you can't do that just using the acoustics of this part. You need something bigger. That's the idea of this box. The first attempt at Eve, I tried to do that without a sufficiently large auxiliary unit. There are wires. These wires will be replaced by wireless transmitters in the very near future. This is a 40-watt amplifier. It's small. Of course, small is relative. It's kind of large on that instrument, and it runs off of a battery pack that's one on the side or hanging on my chair. It runs on a 12 volt battery pack, the same kind of battery packs that RV racers put in their cars to run the motors. That's about it for now. I'll have another video or two about the details of this instrument. There's one more thing. The cantilevered fingerboard. This is, well, others have thought of ways of doing this. This way of doing it is my design. We have the fingerboard, and then we have a cantilever that has a very low cut bridge containing 16 individual transducers that capture the almost inaudible sound of the strings, so that we can do something signal processing wise with those vibrations coming from the strings. And that sits, and this neck is raised so that the transducer that fulfills the function of the bridge can fit under the cantilever. And there's quite a bit of room between the transducer and the cantilevered fingerboard. And maybe at some point we'll do some slow motion video, but this transducer, I mentioned, it's like a piston. I mean, it moves up and down 3 millimeters. I mean, it really, really vibrates when being played hard. That's about it for now. Thank you very much.